There was one remaining argument that the Obelisk had, one remaining dark future that it foresaw as one of the inevitable horriblenesses. Now, I don't know if you recall, the Obelisk was created by the Oblin, hence the name. And it didn't like the Oblin because the Oblin were obsessed with the law and with closing the world's wound. And closing the world's wound is the only thing that matters in the world. Obeying the law and all that kind of stuff. So the Obelisk really doesn't like it. So this particular dark future, we appear in Sulhat, probably. That's the center of the garden.
Yeah, in the middle of Empire End, the spot.
Yeah,
We're in
a beautiful garden. There's people all over the place. And I can't remember what rule the guy broke. One of the bystanders.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of guys walking by, and they all look super happy.
Everyone's smiling.
I mean, they
really
made an inside
hard.
check, and then they realize that, yeah, they have these forced smiles on their face, and they're like, yeah, everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
it's all sunny and happy out.
And
Korean.
A guy takes gum out of his mouth and put it on the fountain.
Why did he do?
I guess
surely
he probably did it surreptitiously.
But
and then
still,
they realize, because this kind of like dreamlike.
Swallow your gum, for crying out loud.
There's a bunch of Oblin around, and they say littering is against the law, and they start dragging that guy away, and he starts screaming.
They're like, screaming is against the
Public
law.
Commotions are against the law.
Public disturbance.
And everyone just happily smiles and tries to get away from the thing.
So yeah, the Oblin have, in this dark future, presumably closed the world's wound, and then with their copious spare time decided, let's take over everything and impose the law on everyone. Absolutely. And yeah, but the thing is, the Obelisk has a bit of a bias. So these Oblin are stupid.
Yeah, they're pretty. It's actually, of all the visions, it's probably the one that shows like his biases the most, because it's like they're way over the top. The Oblin will not really behave like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they started as the combat was started. A chant started going up between the Oblin on like either side of the garden, saying, "Don't think, obey. Don't think, obey. Don't think, obey. The law, the law, the law." And they just keep chanting that as they kind of march zombie-like into the garden to fight the party.
So Hank has been carrying around these things called clockwork bombs for the entire campaign. Well, not the entire campaign. He got them in the Woodlands, didn't he? When did he get those?
That sounds probably like that. I don't remember. But a long time.
They're basically bombs. You put them on the ground, you wind them up, they walk along, and then they explode. There's Oblin like all around the garden, and we're in the center. There's a big fountain in the center. I immediately jump in the fountain because that's like the best place to be for a ranged fighter. It's not in a good place for melee combat guys to reach me. But anyway, he sets down a bunch of these clockwork bombs going off in every direction to go and walk towards these things. And then in the next round, they of course all come crowding in. So the clockwork bombs are just marching off into the garden to blow up randomly. So I think some of the fight we were trying to shove these guys back in front of the clockwork bombs. Was that how it was going?
To a certain degree, I don't know that really like.
I think we kind of gave up on.
Yeah,
just like,
bombs didn't really work very well.
Let them wander off and explode. You know,
they mostly just cause problems where we're like, actually, you don't want to stand there because the bomb might blow up there next round. So we're like, oh, okay, well we got to stand over here now.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember Croesus threw down some caltrops and made a area that kept slowing the Oblin that went through there. What other stuff do we do?
Well, and then Gerard ran over there and dazed a bunch of them that were by there, so they not only got slowed, but they were dazed, so they just like were barely moving at all. They were living up to the zombie-like thing. For the most part, though, the Oblin, they all came in and they ignored everyone except for Croesus. They all went straight for Croesus and hit him for massive damage. But of course, he's Croesus. He's all about taking massive damage. So it was kind of like a, can our massive damage? I was doing 13d8 plus 20, and can that overcome his damage reduction? And every time the Oblin would come up to him, and they would come up to him and say, "I am a mindless zealot," and hit him.
Yeah. And then every time we killed one, it would say, what was it? The
world is no worse off because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
No, because I don't think.
That's
right, because I don't think.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really insulting actually. Croesus was trying really hard to just ignore everything because that's his strategy for all these visions and things. They're all lies and false
Which
visions.
is basically what he was doing, just put his defenses up. But yeah, by the end he was like, I think the Obelisk is racist. But, because they were saying I'm a mindless zealot, and then about halfway through they switched because they were only hitting Croesus to saying you are a mindless zealot, but it didn't work.
I remember Cricket used her bag of tricks and pulled a rage drake out. It was really it's an item you summon creatures.
At the end of that campaign, so they're like, we got to use all these potions that we have. Clockwork bombs, bag of tricks, everything.
It's not a consumable, but I just so rarely get to use it. I figured, let's use it. So I pulled a rage drake out, and it's just this. It's at this point, it's a low-level minion. It's really crappy.
Summoning a dragon in public is against the law.
Yeah. But I figured, if nothing else, it can stand in between me and the attackers. So it went to do that, and so they walked around it, and then it tried to chase after them, but they were faster than it. So that was the story of the rage
drake.
So
it just did nothing.
It did nothing.
It was summoned a dragon,
but
no one cared.
It still had a better time than the Macetail Behemoth I summoned in the previous Dark Vision.
Yes, true. You only see some of these in visions. Because when they went into Croesus' mind, they summoned it.
Yeah.
And they were climbing up this cliff. And what was after them? Chaos Abominations were climbing after them. They get to this ledge, and so he summons a
Macetail Behemoth,
which is
basically an
Ankylosaurus. And it's like, just slow them down. And they just keep climbing, and they left this Ankylosaurus. Its existence begins on this tiny
this
precipice.
narrow ledge over this endless chasm into a chaos void full of fire and nonsense.
There's monsters coming up for it.
It's like, delay them.
So it survives for like a few seconds, being devoured.
Just absolute horror.
Yeah. And it slowed the monsters down by like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And that was its entire existence.
That's horrible.
It probably would have done better if it had jumped off the ledge and fallen on them.
Created a semi-sentient entity.
Yep.
Stand in front of the zombies.
It's okay though. It didn't have a soul.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, we beat the Oblin. I'm trying to remember if there were any other fancy things that happened in there. I splashed around in the fountain for a while. That was kind of fun. Yeah, I think it was basically just a straight up fight.
Yeah, Croesus at the end took 8 hit points of damage.
Yeah, because he's just ridiculous at this point with his shielding and armor and stuff.
Functionally invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's... Well, in the upcoming fight, there was a moment there where it was really scary for Croesus. So yeah, after that fight, we have now basically addressed all of these supposedly inevitable dark futures that are supposedly worse than killing everyone and starting over.
Right. I mean, to be fair, none of those really sound worse than killing everyone and starting over.
Well, the one where pain slavery became predominant throughout the world, yeah, definitely. Pain slavery is the worst thing ever.
Worse than killing everyone?
Yes, but that's what it comes to. Greater good and all that.